I think that Gruberson is pretty confused as to what's happening, and there's really no explanation as to why this town is shaking on a daily basis, and so it's become a bit of an obsession for him. And when Phoebe seems to be interested in this and also recognizes kind of the science behind it, or is interested in the science behind it, I think he pretty quickly takes her under his wing a little bit. And then when she brings in the ghost trap, and it changes course, and now he's a bit of a partner in the whole thing. This is obviously, sacred material to so many people that you don't just want to just do a sequel. There's no point really in that. But what this story says, and not just the narrative of the story and the characters and the holdover from the original, the fact that Jason is directing it, wrote it and directed it, that it's the family business now. And I think that those themes that are playing out on the page and in the story, in a way, are playing out behind the cameras too. And so there's this passing of the torch theme that I think is really interesting and an amazing thing to be a part of. There's an interesting thing that happens, and it happens in phases. The first time I read the script, I'm thinking, oh my God, I know these characters, and something might be described in the script, and I'll think that's kind of a nod to the original. I remember a scene like this in the original, or I'll remember that dialogue being spoken, or somebody sitting in a chair like, I saw in the original. And as each thing would kind of reveal itself in the script the first time, I would get chills and think, oh, this is such a cool way to do it, and it's really exciting, and you want to tell lots of people, we can't say anything to anybody. And so, with each one, I would get more and more excited. I'm a fan of the original film, like everybody, pretty much, and I think that Jason did such a great job, and Gil, writing this script, the two of them, and coming up with this story. I kind of think it's the perfect way to do it, but it's also its own thing, and it's its own film, and it would be, I think we'd probably be getting into trouble if we just kind of thought, oh, we're doing the first thing, this is like the follow-up to. I don't think you can think like that. You have to view each thing as its own piece, and while the connections are there, and while it's very much a love letter to the original, I don't think that anybody can burden themselves with this kind of sacred thing over their shoulder of continuing that story. Otherwise, it would be a little too daunting. Working with Jason as a director is great. I've been such a fan of Jason's, for so many years. I've always wanted to work with him. I've known him for years. We've done live readings together, and have been friends. But this is the first time I've gotten to work with him. So that's been everything I'd hoped it would be and more. It's fun to work with somebody who has that kind of control, that has a point of view, that is passionate about the material, and that you can trust. He, when he's on set, knows what he wants. He understands the technical side of filmmaking, and that's been really cool to hear when you're like, oh, let's do this lens, let's do this light, let's get the and sometimes you work with a director who seems stronger in one category just, the narrative and the acting side of it, doesn't really know so much about the technical side of filmmaking, or it could be the opposite way. And Jason's primary focus as a director, I think, is story and narrative, and he's great with that, but he also knows the technical side. He's a real filmmaker,